Alright guys, what's up man? What's up my friends? What's up amigos? We made a video, posted it at 10 yesterday, and it did pretty well, I want to say, compared to other ones. I'm just saying that to pretty much do like a timestamp that I was hyped on 50 views within, or yeah, within like 12 hours. So that's pretty cool. Um, as I've been saying in the last two videos, that I want these to be more of conversation starters than explanations of what you should do. It's more just like subjective and suggestive content, I guess. And today's video is going to be pretty much about how you shouldn't think of your body's ability as a definite thing, right? And what inspired this video, just to be super clear about what I'm talking about, is I watched a 3 or 5 minute clip of the 9 Club with Andrew Huberman. And Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist that knows a lot about his area of study. And the 9 Club is a skateboard podcast that just kind of comes from different angles, and they talk about a lot of they go wide with skateboarding. So anyways, they were talking about CTE, brain injury, and how someone can experience more versus the other. And in my head, and the way they were explaining it, they kind of were suggesting like, oh, well, maybe you should play your cards right because, you can hurt yourself if this and that. But my question became, well, what makes someone more prone to injury or brain injury when they fall? And like, why does someone jar their brain versus the other who doesn't, Like, what makes them more resilient? And that's kind of where I'm more curious to dive deeper into the conversation, because speaking from skating for around 14 or 15 years, so over a decade, I've experienced being like super fragile 13-year-old who's barely getting to skateboarding, and if I skate the stairs, I just go splat to the ground. And then I've experienced myself now where that will not happen if I'm listening to my body, Like, if I just say, as a kid or when you're barely learning, you don't understand the risk yet until you experience riskful falls, very risky falls, where you're like, damn, I'm just happy I didn't eat shit, So, just thinking about all those years of skating and how I have gotten stronger, not just like not because I have more muscle or because I'm older, but it's just because I understand how my body needs to react when I'm falling, or how my body is better at reacting when it takes a slam, It doesn't jar as easily as it would before. And that's only because, well, first off, I understand that the possibilities there, and I understand that when when I feel like 20% good, there's more likely that I could do that versus when I'm 100% and my legs are good. They can basically, I distribute the impact throughout my body. It's not just like I'm all weak. As a kid, my theory is that like our legs are very fragile and we're barely building that muscle, and so if we fall, we don't have strong legs to take some of the impact, so it brings us all down, so that we don't break it. It's like a protective mechanism in a weird way. And so, as you get stronger, as you do more tricks, your legs build muscles. But it's not just your legs simply. It's your knees, it's your ankles, it's your hips, it's your body, it's your shoulders, it's your neck. And this is where I kind of want to introduce the idea that was introduced to me recently, that your neck, because we're talking about CTE and what I, got inspired, I guess, to make this video. is that your neck is a core. If just like you consider your torso a core, or your six pack, or your abdominal muscles, however you refer to them. You know, most people think of that as a core, and that's the main thing we want to get strong when we're thinking, oh, stability and balance and all these things, right? But I feel like a lot of people overlook the neck and how that plays a big part in what stability can look like or manifest in your body, right? And so for a while I've been playing around with the idea of like, okay, how do I get my neck stronger? And if you know, I guess you guys wouldn't know, but my mentality when it comes to lifting or getting stronger or even just working out, it's not really like working one thing by one thing. It's integrating everything at once. So, and what I mean by that is like if I'm lifting something from the ground to my chest, I'm using my neck, I'm using my head, I'm using my shoulders, like I'm using my chest, using everything, you know, whereas most people would think, oh, when you lift something from the ground, like in front of you, you're using your back or your lower back or whatever. That's not my perspective, and I guess I'll explain later why that is, but but what I'm saying right now is that when you are doing anything, literally anything, whether that's talking, chewing, um, laughing, swallowing, turning to look, skating, you know, you're using your neck, and you can't, or I don't know if you can't, but you could definitely not take into consideration, but I think that's working against you. You gotta understand that your neck is a big part of what is gonna make you more able to, the strength of your neck along with your whole body is gonna really determine whether or not you jar your brain when you fall. You know, the more stable you are in your neck and your core, and the core below that, it's the less you'll be likely to do whiplash as roughly. You know, a lot of us have fallen, and we can just like kind of slide back and lift our leg, and it's not that much impactful, so we don't do a whiplash. But if we try down something considerably bigger, you're gonna notice that whiplash probability increases a lot. And so start to ask why. You know, what's weak? What is weak? What part of your neck too? Your neck is just not one thing. Your neck has a lot of different muscles. It has some in the front right here. It has some on the side. It has this back one right before, these back ones right below the skull, kind of where the skull and the spine connect. Ask yourself, what is gonna strengthen the whole core? In this case, your neck. Because at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself if you're not considering it all. I would say pretty much when thinking about, like to start off, thinking about when you're skating, doing manuals, pay attention to where you position your skull, your head, your neck, all those things, and how that affects your stability, you know, on the board. Same thing when you're doing a grind. And depends what grind, you know. Your neck is gonna be stacked differently with a crook than it would with a 5-0, you know. And this also includes the hip. The hip is gonna be angled. It's gonna sit differently. The shoulders, everything is pretty much something to consider. But we're using the neck to drive the conversation, I would say. But yeah, I guess what I want to say and leave you guys with is to learn about how to strengthen your whole body as a system, not just as individual parts. So don't just think, oh, I'm gonna get my arms stronger, let me do bicep curls. Oh, I'm gonna get my shoulders stronger, let me do whatever these things are. I forget what they are. Let me. I want my neck stronger, so let me sit at the edge of the bench and lift my head. Let's try to explore different ways to integrate these strengthening movements, and then also not to fatigue ourselves. A lot of times we think we're working out and we're doing ourselves better and getting stronger, but then we go to the skate park and we can't even do a ollie as high, or we can't even crook as long. Turns out the muscles are bigger but weaker. And personally, that's not what I want. I don't care to show anything if there's nothing that manifests from it, or nothing that's created from the show, you know. Um, but yeah, explore. There's a couple like practices that I've been trying and learning about, and I'm not sharing them because I believe in them 100%. I just think that they've been of some use to me, and those two would be like functional patterns, and move med. They're like contradicting. They kind of go, in a way, they have different methodologies on how, and frameworks on how to improve your body's function, but both of them have served me pretty well. And I think that, I'm not religious to one, so I'm just gonna share both of those. And yeah, go search, go explore what's gonna be better. I do hope to be more knowledgeable and explain a bit more, but at the end of the day, it's the conversation that matters to me. And today's conversation is pretty much, how do you get your body stronger so that when you do fall, it's not as taxing on the body. There it is. That's what I've been wanting to say this whole 12 minutes. Strengthen the body as a system so that when you fall, you're not taxing the body as harshly. There we go. That's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Tell me what I'm not explaining. Tell me what you would want me to explain more of in a different video. And let me know if these things are cool, just me talking to the camera, or you guys want something more like a vlog, a little more skating. Like, what brings you here, I guess. But yeah, see you guys soon, and laters.